I bet you already know the numbers 1 to 10 in Spanish. If not, make sure you learn them because they go under the category of basic essential knowledge.
If you do already know them, pay attention anyway. There may be a few things about the numbers you do not already know.
For instance, if you're using the number 1 with a noun, like one duck, you have to use the correct form of the word one to match the gender of your noun.
We'll go into the details of nouns and gender later. For now, just consider this. If a noun ends in O, it's usually considered masculine, like me.
And if it ends in A, it's probably considered feminine.
Like me. Let's quickly go through the numbers 1 through 10. Then we'll go into detail about gender and the number 1.
0, 0 puntos.
1, un pato.
2, 2 abogados.
3, 3 dentistas.
4, 4 plantas.
5, 5 tostadores.
6, 6 tazas.
7, 7 naranjas.
8, 8 manzanas.
9, 9 escritores.
10, 10 árboles.
Okay, so here's the deal with gender and the number 1. 1 is the loneliest number. No, that's another issue entirely. When you're just counting, like 1, 2, 3, and so on, you say uno for 1. Uno, dos, tres, and so on.
But when you use the number 1 along with a noun, like one duck, you have to make the number match in gender with the noun it's paired with. Like we said, we'll tell you more about this gender thing later. For now, remember that you can tell pato is a masculine noun because it ends in O.
You may think that the masculine form of the number uno is uno since it ends in O. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I'm sure you've noticed that in our example, one duck, we said un pato, not uno pato.
When you want to use the number 1 with a masculine noun such as pato, drop the O and just say un pato.
So you're saying to yourself, pato has an O on the end, uno has an O on the end. They match like they're supposed to, right?
When you use the number 1 with a feminine noun, a noun that ends in an A, use the form una. Una, which also has an A on the end, matches the feminine gender of your noun.
For example, the noun mesa, which is feminine, ends in A. To say one table, say una mesa. To say one ant, say una hormiga. It's very simple, really. Just make the A's match.
So essentially, there are 3 ways to say the number 1, and you have to pick the right one depending on what form you need.
If you're just counting, say uno. If you're using the number 1 as an adjective modifying a masculine noun, say un. And if you're using it to modify a feminine noun, say una. Got that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Now, here are the numbers 11 to 20.
11,
12,
13,
14,
15,
16,
17,
18, 19.
20.
I strongly suggest that unless you're Einstein, you rewind and review those numbers.
To learn the numbers between 20 and 99, you really just have to learn the multiples of 10. You know, 20, 30, 40, and so on. The numbers in between work pretty much like they do in English. You just tack on the single-digit number.
Now let's take a look at the numbers between 20 and 29.
In English, we say 21. In Spanish, you say 21. 22 is 22. 23 is 23. 24 is 24. And the numbers go on like that until you get to 30.
The Spanish word for 30 is 30. 31 is 31. Skipping a bit, 38 is 38, and 39 is 39.
The Y between the multiple of 10 and the single digit means and. Here are the rest of the multiples of 10.
40,
50,
60,
70.
80.
90.
So much for the numbers in this video. If you want to learn to count past 99, you gotta watch part 2. Ha!
Section D. Honey, we need to talk.
If you speak to people in Spanish, you have to know how to be polite and spout meaningless pleasantries like we do in English.
These pleasantries are just something you have to say in any language. You can't just run up to a Spanish speaker and say,
Quit speaking your moon man language and tell me where I can find a snow cone. Yeah. Snow cone.
no. You have to be polite and genteel. You have to say,
Good afternoon. How are you? You wouldn't happen to know where I might find some flavored snow for my family,